So here we are with James Craig of LPA Urban, James Yoder of Not Just Coffee, Todd Huber of Undercurrent Coffee. These guys are the founders of Night Swim Coffee, and we're sitting in a roastery today. So guys, thanks for sitting here and being with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Thanks for having us.
And personally, I'm very excited, specific to Not Just Coffee, because I've developed a lot of relationships. I've spent a lot of time. I've done a lot of business at Not Just Coffee, so really excited about this video.
Thanks, Jay. Us too.
What's the one thing about coffee that people don't realize?
This is kind of a joke internally.
I know what you're going to say.
Coffee is a fruit.
Okay.
Most people don't realize coffee is a fruit.
There you go.
And the coffee bean is the seed of that fruit. Is that what you thought I was going to say?
It is,
Nice.
yeah. No, I knew what you were going to say. I would say just in general though, beyond coffee, the coffee business and coffee shops, it's much more complex and complicated, I think a lot of people realize, from where it starts as a fruit, the whole logistical process, agriculturally and then logistically, and then even in the cafes, there's a lot of complexity to do it right and to do it well. And we think that's one of the reasons why there's so few long-standing, successful, independent coffee brands. It's a very challenging business and business model, starting with the coffee itself. So it really takes a lot of focus, effort, passion, and will to do it well and to do it for the long term.
So we're drinking house blend Night Swim coffee here. Where did this coffee originate?
Guatemala and Ethiopia. It's a blend of two coffees.
And you guys are also using a lot of local brands like Homeland Creamery and stuff like that, right?
That's right.
Yeah, all our dairy comes from Homeland Creamery. We try to use produce from Fresh List, which kind of aggregates from local farms and then delivers it to us. And, we try to keep that local where we can, and if we can get a better product, then
yeah. The coffee can't be done locally.
Yeah.
And
North Carolina's not great for.
We do sell a lot of avocado toast in our cafes, and unfortunately, the avocados have to be sourced from elsewhere as well. But most of our other food does come from local providers and producers.
So I love the name Night Swim. It really resonates with me. It's nostalgic for me, and I think a lot of people probably say that. But tell us about that brand, the name Night Swim. How did that brainstorming session, creatively coming up with that name, how did that happen?
All of us we would sit down and spout off names and write them down. We had a list, probably like 50 or 75 words. And at that point you're just in like the kind of brain dump phase. So you're throwing out a lot of stuff that, you're like, oh no, that's terrible, I'm never gonna use that. And then at some point, Todd and Erin were in Durham, and we were always texting each other in a group, like, how about this name? How about that name? And Todd texted, how about Night Swim Coffee? And I looked at it, but I was busy, I forgot about it. And then a couple weeks later, Todd brought it back up to me, and I was like, oh yeah. And then I looked, and I was like, I love that. And it hit us all at the same time. Immediately, everyone loved the name. Like it was an exciting sounding thing. It just kind of flowed. And I think we all still really feel strongly about the name.
That was your aha moment.
Yep.
It was like, that's the one. That's
yeah.
And just thinking of night swimming and night swims and those experiences that we all had. Usually, growing up, for us, it's often been in the past, but there was a strong sense of nostalgia, of fun, of edginess, of presence in those moments that we had. We also just loved what we could do with the brand out of Night Swim, and we thought it really worked. And it was a good complement to the two other brands that we're managing, Undercurrent and Not Just Coffee. Really thought that fit very well.
So James Craig, tell us as a real estate representative, when you're out looking for locations for now Night Swim, what are you looking for? Are you looking for visibility? Are you looking for parking? Are you looking for a second-gen space? Are you looking for a really cool, edgy, urban infill location? Tell us, what are the parameters that you're looking for when it comes to great real estate for this kind of concept?
Yeah, and I think you hit on a lot of them just there. We want all the typical, hot buttons that a local group would want in an infill setting. But what I really appreciate about these guys is that they're kind of opportunistically looking at opportunities. People send us sites almost daily, and it would be easy to kind of just say, hey, we need to have this many cafes done by the end of the quarter and just go chase some deals. But they're really intentional in how they set this brand up, what the customer experience is, and I think that's part of the reason it's such a revered brand locally. So at some point, I know our intent is to start looking outside of the Charlotte market, but we're not going to go do deals, like I said, just for the sake of knocking deals down. So yeah, I mean, I guess to circle back to your original question, we're typically in the 1,500 to 2,000 square foot range for a cafe. I mean, obviously we're in a larger building here. This is about 5,000 square feet, but includes the roastery. Second generation is always ideal for any food and beverage user, but we've looked at opportunities that weren't set up, didn't feel like a night swim, and just passed on them.
So tell us about the vision for where we're sitting today, night swim roastery. What was the vision when you originally saw this building? You're redeveloping the building. It looks fantastic, but what was the thought process behind this location in Loso, one of the hottest submarkets in America, obviously the Southeast, but there's a ton of multifamily development, office development, mixed-use projects that are a 9-iron from here. So maybe that's a main reason, but what was the idea here?
Well, when we all drove up, I remember, Miracle and I and Todd and Erin and James, we drove up here and immediately loved the building. And we had kind of made the decision, we didn't want to have a roastery in far out from town or in like a completely industrial area. We wanted it to be a place where we could showcase what we're doing, and a beautiful cafe, and a place that could be easily accessed in an urban area. We kind of weighed those options and pretty decidedly realized we didn't want to be out in 10 miles outside of town. We wanted to be in the city.
Yeah, we needed to balance the economic factors of being further out of the city, of course, would be more affordable, but we had a strong belief that being able to showcase our brand through this roastery and through this cafe was very important. So we were looking for the right balance of a little bit industrial, but also something with pretty significant ability to grow and be more highly visible, and Loso really fit those parameters very well. So this is essentially exactly what we were looking for, and it wasn't easy to find something like this, frankly. I mean, this was probably the only thing we saw that really fit. We spent several months and looked at so many different projects all over Charlotte, but this turned out to be exactly what we're looking for, and we've been really excited about the way it's developed and turned out, and we're pretty excited to open next month.
Yeah, and to James's point, I mean, when you drive down here, you can kind of see you're skating to where the puck's going as far as development activity, and better than anybody else all the multifamily that's happening in the area. There's retail that's quickly following that. So I mean, I think this area is quickly turning over from what looks to be primarily industrial to something that's going to be supremely walkable. You're going to have public transit, a ton of apartments within, like you said, a 9-iron to the site. So as far as accessibility for their customer, it doesn't really get any better than that.
Yeah, and it's cool to see a place and immediately know that it's where you want to be, and then to see it transform into this. And so having that experience kind of from the moment we saw this building to now, it's pretty cool. And we've been so happy with how it's progressed.
And the property owners were really, we sat down with them early on. Greg and Lawrence they were pretty quickly sold on the concept and the operators. And
Really important.
yeah, and just coffee as a commodity, I think, is something that's going to be a pretty large need down here with all the multifamily coming.
Well, I really appreciate you all taking the time today. I'm really excited for the growth plans that Night Swim has in the works, and selfishly, really happy and appreciative that we have you guys here in Charlotte. So thanks again for your time, and I know you guys are going to continue to crush it.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching today. If you're interested in keeping up with the latest developments in Charlotte, make sure to like and subscribe.